the last NECO exam because the parents felt, no, look, we don't trust where you want to take our children to. And that means the community involvement is lost. If they are informed, if they are carried along and all of them want to be part of the process, they will know that they are giving their children some level of protection. And so this is why it is important that the campaign that is being carried out by whether UNICEF or other partners on the school safety initiative, we must try as much as possible to carry the media along. There must be strong partnership with the media, strong partnership. And we are ready to create that kind of opportunity so that it is not just left just at the level of discussions. It should be taken to the grassroots. Let us have ambassadors. Let us have community representatives who are going to be carried along in terms of this kind of conscious awareness. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. We're moving into more positive territory now. We're getting some solutions and recommendations. Juliana, perhaps as someone who has spoken quite extensively to some of these children who have been unfortunately attacked, kidnapped, etc., you've heard about these positive developments and solutions. Maybe you have something else that you can suggest that you think would serve as a deterrent or as a way of ensuring that security is actually uppermost in the minds of school authorities.
Well, what I've always said, every time I have an opportunity to talk about insecurity in schools, I've always hammered on one thing: enforcement of our laws. We have too many laws, and still we'll keep gathering at the round table talk. We'll keep talking about coming up with new laws. Why? Why are we not enforcing the laws that we have on ground right now? Too many laws, but they are not working. Why are they not working? Because nobody is interested enough to enforce them. Look at the Safe School Declaration. Very beautiful, a policy that has been ratified, and a policy that they are even fighting now and arguing and debating, and it should become a kind of a national policy. Beautiful, I agree. But like I equally told Dr. Abiola, Sani, who was the chairman, we have laws. Why are they not being enforced? I tell you, somebody needs to pay for what is going on in schools, for the insecurity. We need to use somebody as a scapegoat. You need to arrest somebody, you need to prosecute, and you need to convict, to send a strong message. As long as we keep folding our hands, we keep going round in circles, and we still come back to keep debating these things. They've arrested some people. Where are they? What is happening to them? How many people have been charged to court? Why are the victims who are seeking justice and closure, why have they not seen their perpetrators being arraigned? So these are the issues. These are the issues, you know. I'm talking about law enforcement agents. Do they even have the trainings? Yeah. Right. Recently, somebody was arrested last week for being involved in kidnapping and banditry, and he's a law enforcement person. What has happened to that person? So as long as people are being arrested and they are not being tried, we are still going to have this issue. Because we are treating these people with kid gloves. We are treating them with levity, and this is not what we should be doing. This is certainly not what we should be doing. The victims, these children, they need a closure. They need to know that the government can protect them. It's the cardinal function of the government to protect these children. The places of learning should be safe. They should be able to say, if they don't feel safe, and you are bringing security to be parading their school, they won't be able to learn anything. Let's be realistic about these things. So the buck still go back to the leaders. They need to be decisive and show the willpower that they want to fight this issue. and to fight it to a standstill, not making boardroom talks where it goes nowhere. After that, everybody goes to their bed to sleep. No, we've gone beyond that. We need radical and stronger measures.
Yes, thank you very much, Juliana. I had really hoped that we could have solved the technical issues that we've been having with Commissioner Frank's auditor's connectivity, because I think he really would be in a great position to talk about these obviously criminal activities, because that's what they are. They are criminal activities. When you spoke with the children, were you in a position to also talk with the principals and the teachers? Because when we talk about the leaders, as far as the school environment is concerned, their immediate leaders are, well, definitely the teachers, but then the principals, the vice principals. I don't know whether you had any discussion with them. Whilst you're thinking about that, please hold that thought, because I want to ask Dr. Giwamu if there is any plan to have some kind of dealing or mechanism that actually brings the school heads together, because I think they are probably in the best position. Most of them come from within the communities where these schools are sited. And even if we talk to traditional rulers, even if the governors are involved, even if community members are involved, if those who are heading the schools are not also involved, we might not complete the equation. I don't know what your thoughts are about that.
Okay, please let me just quickly say two things. The Safe School Declaration, one of the key actions under the Safe School Declaration has been the development of manuals, security manuals, which have been infused into security doctrines and training manuals, so that as new recruits come on board, they already have, safe schools, and they need to protect schools as very critical on within their training. I also wanted to mention that this Safe School Declaration has 6 implementation guidelines that are targeted against military use of schools. It's a very, very critical factor, because they are focusing on the fact that, you don't need to have, we don't want military, or we don't want security in the schools. If needed, they can be at some distance, but not within the schools. When they are going, they need to make sure that the school is cleared of any of these, weapons or any item that can constitute a risk. And generally, the Safe School Declaration really highlights the fact that there should be no military, there should be no security in the school. Also, the UN peacekeeping missions have banned any use of security around schools. They don't do that. So I wanted to mention that. And then sorry, can I take your question again?
Yes, I was asking about the effective use of those who are the immediate leaders in the schools. That is the principals, the vice principals, because I think they kind of bridge the gap between the children, the teachers, the community, and even the governors and government officials.
Okay, we have what you call the school-based management committees. This is a committee that interfaces between the school and the community. And the principal is, in fact, is the secretary, is a major player in this committee. And for like UNICEF, what we're looking at is building capacity of teachers, of head teachers, of community members in school safety practices. What they need to do to ensure that the schools are safe, the children are safe while they're in school, to make sure that we're able to build resilience so that the children are armed with knowledge and skills to better deal with the event of any incident. So the head teacher is always in the lead. Also, we are looking at, you know, enshrining a teacher or two as the school safety, you know, focal point that will be the focal point if there's any issue of, you know, attack. It might be due to conflict, due to banditry, it might be due to violence, even from peers in the school. Because we sometimes forget that some of the threats, you know, to safety are with are students. Some of them are teachers. Some of them are perpetrators of violence. So the role of the teacher is very critical. As I speak, there's an intervention that is looking at training 30,000 teachers under the Global Partnership for Education COVID-19 program to be able to be armed with these skills, transferable skills that they can use to influence that culture of school safety and security among their wards when they're in classrooms. So of course, the role of the head teacher is very critical, and you know, in ensuring that school safety is enforced as much as possible.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's quite gratifying to know that UNICEF is really trying to involve as many different levels as possible, that there are several entry points when we're talking about insecurity. Now, there's something that you said, which I find quite interesting. You were talking about, well, you didn't use the word, but I am introducing this word now. It is complicity. Now, Mojid, in your investigations, I don't know, but from certain reports that I've read, it does seem as if there is that there are informants actually within the local community. Now, Dr. Giwa Amu has told us about certain elements within the school premises, but I think also in the community, from my understanding, there are corrosive elements. Let me put it that way. Is it true? Do we really have? Is there complicity within local environments? Is that what is part of the cause of this problem?
Thank you so much. It is quite understandable that an outsider will never come to a particular environment to engage in criminality without involvement of an insider. It is definitely not possible. Whether as a driver, as a gatesman, as a cleaner, as anything, you realize that information is actually shared. Because when you look at this, people give information. I've spoken to victims of kidnapping who actually narrated their hoodie, and they were able, through their contacts, probably when they were in the den of these kidnappers, they were able to realize how they even got information about them. It could be somebody who is not just happy about it, could be because somebody wants to make money. We have seen instances of individuals who actually are not happy with a particular system. And more importantly, any society where people are jobless, where you have unemployed, teeming population of unemployed youth, you realize that you will see somebody who is either a cleaner in a house. People are volunteered to even kidnap their own cousins, nephews, nieces, just because they are looking for a particular thing, either as a result of anger or as a result of just because they want to make money from that particular. People have even kidnapped themselves, hidden themselves somewhere, they hid themselves somewhere, and they will be demanding ransom. We have seen such instances. So it is very clear that until we are able to form an army of community people who will be very committed, but it's quite unfortunate that at this stage, we have lost that communalism. In the past, you will see that when a child is born in an area, when a child is being groomed, it is not just the responsibility of the father and mother. It is the responsibility of the community to train a child. And that is why when you talk about area father in the past does not mean that we are talking about people who are thugs or who are touts. We are talking about people within the neighborhood who will sit at their veranda and they can be able to see a child that wants to escape from the house to go and play ball in a place that is not safe. Those men and women, they were there. But these days, you don't even know your neighbor. People will be in a particular compound that they don't even meet again. They don't even talk. And even the problem that we have created, that people are afraid of even touching the children of the neighbors, because you realize that there is a culture. I want to believe that the idea that you cannot discipline a child is also creating a lot of problems. When we can moderate how children are disciplined, we should also be able to understand that the fact that children must be disciplined. I took my child to a class some times ago, an Arabic school, and I realized that he misbehaved there. And I told the teacher that I'm bringing him to the assembly to flog him in the presence of everybody and to give the teacher the right. That's my own. It might not be right, but the question is that because we have condoned this indiscipline, we have allowed our children to also see that they can do anything, and by the time they fall into a deeper ditch, we will not be able to rescue them. So
that is why it is said.
Yeah, it is very clear that there can never be any incident of criminality without the involvement of an insider. You can be a cleaner, you can be a gardener, you can be a security person, you can even the person that you hand over your. But if we have a community system where people are watching each other, where the community have a responsibility that, okay, what is happening there? We have seen, just like Dr. Giwa Amu said, that you will see vehicles that are empty, roaming around a school environment. There is nobody to touch them. I could remember my father would sit down in front of our house and we'll be monitoring all the children coming from schools when they close by 2 p.m., 2:30. Some of them who are going to be throwing stones to get fruit at our compound. My father will want to see who are their parents. Go to your father's house. All these things are no longer available. And these are the things that we need to
do. That is one of the reasons why we have this saying that it takes a village, and it really does take a village. It seems that we have to go back to some of our I don't know the word to use. Shall I say it's a term really? Go back to some of our old school methods.
Mr. Odita is here now. If you can hear us, as a security expert, as a commissioner of police, I think you should be able to help us out. Mr. Odita, can you hear us now?
Okay, Mr. Odita, are you here with us? Can you hear us? Oh, to join us. But anyway, we're virtually at the end of the program. But I think we ought to go around the room, as it were. One very quick with the soft skills. Okay, I am back. Dr. Giwa Amu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Yes, I was about to ask you a question about the vocational skills that you mentioned. It's something that you apparently UNICEF wants to introduce, and as much as I believe it's a good idea, I'm just wondering where the training will take place, because right now, you know, the infrastructure is not in good shape, and of course we've already heard that many children don't even want to go back to the school buildings. So I do wonder about where this training will take place, but presumably out of the school walls.
Okay, the training I was talking about is training in conflict-sensitive disaster risk reduction skills. And that is basically for the children to know what they need to do at any point in time.
Okay.
In the advent of, it's not a vocational, as it were.
All right.
So
okay.
I'm talking of like skills to do with school emergency preparedness and response plans that show them what they need to do, where is the muster point, what, you know, the script for the evacuation drill, and then how they need to do monitor and evaluation and practice and do better, things like that, and then the early warning systems and signs. Those are the skills I was actually talking about.
All right, thank you very much for that clarification. All right, well, just before we round off the program, let's take next steps. Juliana, let me start with you. Obviously, this is a situation that requires everybody's buy-in. I mean, there is no particular group in society that can actually afford to sit by the wayside, as it were, and just let things, keep degenerating. So, what would you say would be the first thing that we need to do to get things back on an even keel? Juliana, let's hear you first.
I've said it before, Bimbo. I've said it. They need to tackle insecurity, whether we like it or not. You can have the best school structure. You can have the best funding for school. You can have the best everything for the children.
Okay.
But as long as...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but tackling insecurity is a very huge umbrella. Give me one method. From what you've seen, from what you've heard, what do you think could be the first step, the first method that we can key into to tackle this insecurity?
It's still the same thing I said before. Arrest just one person. Arrest just one person. Use the person as a bait to get others. Get them convicted. Give conviction. We are going somewhere. And another thing, while we are still battling this, why don't we see how we can, maybe UNICEF, other partners in the North, let's see what we can do about bringing the Child Rights Act into the North. Because as long as girls are going out, hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. As long as we are having out of school children, our girls are in danger. You know, because we are going to obviously have more out of more forced marriages, and we are going to have more VVF. We are going, a female child that is educated in the North is like educating a whole village. That's my own opinion, anyway.
Right. So
while we are fighting, while we are fighting this, I don't see why we cannot try to see how we can safeguard these children by ensuring that the Child Rights Act is enshrined in those parts. At least start to give them semblance of
so you've given us two key points going forward: the Child Rights Act and bringing at least one person to book. So, Majid, 30 seconds. What's your key takeaway or your key solution? First step.
I've always said it. Community policing is the key to security challenges that we have. We must go back to that communalism. We must go back to that communalism structure where you have everybody coming together to provide solutions. And unfortunately, it's only that I don't know why we have left this. When you go to a lot of estates, people provide light and power by themselves. People provide roads themselves in their estates. Why don't they come together to provide security to our institution? This should go to the level of villages and communities. Community policing is the lasting solution to this problem.
Thank you very much, Majid Alabi. Dr. Giwa Amu, I think yours will be the last word.
I want to say safe schools financing. Very critical in our budgets. Our plans need to be emergency sensitive, crisis sensitive. So safe school financing and community-based intervention in their role as, gatekeeper community being in charge of the schools. So building their capacities to be able to do what they need to do to ensure that the schools that belong to them, rightly so, are well protected. So financing and communities.
Great, thank you very, very much. I think we've moved forward, I believe, in this 1 hour of discussion. We've set the scene. We found out what is really going on and how it's affecting the entire gamut of those involved with education. And I think we've come out with about 5 or 6 solid recommendations which we can try to take forward. Well, time is actually not our friend any longer. So I want to thank my guests, Dr. Giwa Amu, Coordinator, Education in Emergencies, UNICEF. I want to thank Mr. Frank Ojita because he tried as much as he possibly could. He made every effort to be part of this program. And okay.
And he promised to get across. He said he would try to get his technical person and that he will join. He will ensure that he joins next week since it's every Wednesday.
Yes, okay. He'll be very welcome next week. We look forward to having him. Thank you so much. Thank you also to my colleagues, Juliana Francis, who is the crime editor at New Telegraph, and Mr. Mojid Alabi, who is the head of the development desk at Premium Times. Thank you all for your spirited contributions to this week's edition of The Dialogue. It's been my pleasure hosting today's episode. And once again, let me remind you that The Dialogue is powered by, strictly speaking, Premium Times and the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, WSCIJ. Do join me again next week in our bid to ensure that every child has access to basic education from primary to junior secondary school. I'm Bimbo Oluede. Thank you for being with me for this 1 hour. I look forward to seeing you again next week. See you then.